Good evening, Kenton community. My name is Sabatino Samato. I'm your superintendent, and this is your weekly Connection update. I encourage you to look at the Connection this week. A lot of great stories. First, from me, you'll see that there's a section on the FAFSA, not too late to complete our FAFSA for our seniors especially. Model UN competition, we have a recognition there. And then we also get into our safety tips, that weekly piece that we have for families. Then, of course, we go into our school and district highlights. We focus on Women's History Month, and then we've rounded off this week with our recognition. So let's get going. First, it's not too late to complete the FAFSA. For those of you who aren't aware, FAFSA, free application for federal student aid. We also have another acronym, TAP, Tuition Assistance Program forms. And folks, any of our seniors who are looking to move on to post-secondary schooling, that's any schooling after high school, post-secondary, they need to complete these forms. Whether they're taking out loans, they're looking for assistance, all of our families go through this process. It is, and sometimes it feels challenging, but we have great help and assistance in Kenton. Our counselors have been providing that help in the schools, and we're even continuing that help at the Family Support Center. And there's a point in here where you can look to how you can make one-on-one appointments with our Family Support Center in completing this work. Folks, excellent thing to do. Please don't let it wait any longer if you haven't addressed it already with your kiddo. There's even a little point in there, and we finish off that section with there's tons of money out there available to our kids in the form of scholarships as well. Make sure that you give all of your effort, kiddos, in applying for any scholarship that you can, moving on to post-secondary. Really check out that section. Next, the Model UN competition. And first, a special congratulations to the Kenmore East team led by teacher Christopher Knabb. Do you know that the Kenmore East team has won 15 out of the past 17 competitions that have been offered for Model UN? What a great job. You could read about those kiddos there. Also very proud of the Kenmore West team led by teacher Holly Georgic Schmidt. And you'll see all the students there from Kenmore West. Just a wonderful job done by our teams in that Model UN competition. Our next portion, safety tips for families. And folks, we really focus on a little bit back to the basics. We've talked about it before, stranger danger. Recently, you saw yesterday, we just sent out a message to our entire community that we've been notified by the Kenmore-Tonawanda Police Department, maybe an incident where somebody was trying to connect with one of our kiddos out in the community, a stranger danger situation. And I just encourage you to really read that section, go over those points with kids. You can never go over something like that enough. So really check out that section, giving guidance to kiddos, knowing the routes that your kids take home, talking to children about staying away from people that they don't know and away from vehicles that they're not familiar with. It's a really important tip for this week. Then we go into our school and district highlights. And first we have Kenmore West IB program celebrates achievements of its first graduating class. Across the U.S., schools celebrate Purple Day for epilepsy awareness. Then Kenmore West hosts Inspiring Women in Leadership panel. Edison Elementary proudly presents Best Little Theater in Town. Lindbergh American Heart Association Jump Rope Challenge raises $7,400. Kenmore West students and staff compete in Spring Slam competition. Franklin and Lindbergh Elementary classes participate in UN Sustainable Development Project. And then take a look at Teaching Club visits the UB teaching program. All those stories just happening this past week. Really take a look at everything that's going on throughout our district. So many wonderful activities. And then, of course, our next section, celebrating Women's History Month. And this week we celebrate women in aviation, not just one individual, but several people throughout our history that have been just so impactful in aviation. Please take a look at that. Great stories, great impact, a great form of our history. Really read that section. And finally, we come to our recognitions. And we have actually 3 recognitions that we're going to have this week. And they're all actually happening during our spring recess. But we're going to celebrate them next week because we want to give credit where credit is due while we're all in school. Our first recognition is next week. The entire week is Assistant Principals Week. Typically, that is during the week of April 3rd. And because, once again, that's spring recess, we're going to be celebrating all of our assistant principals next week. Really take the opportunity to just go up to your assistant principal with a nice smile and say thank you. Glad that you're part of our family here at school. Next, our recognition, of course, are school librarians, and that typically takes place on April 4th, but once again, because of the spring recess, we're going to celebrate that on Tuesday, March 28th, and all of the great things that our school librarians do for us in our community. Make sure that you're really recognizing your school librarians next week. And finally, our recognition of Paraprofessionals Appreciation Day, and typically that's the first Wednesday of April every year. And this year, because of that spring recess, we're going to celebrate Paraprofessionals Appreciation Day on March 29th. That's next Wednesday. And of course, it includes all of our teacher assistants, teacher aides, security aides, school monitors, and all the work that they do on a regular basis. So folks, our assistant principals, our school librarians, and our paraprofessionals, the work that they do is second to none, and really take time to just say thank you next week. And that brings us to the end of our connection. And folks, as I've said during this connection today, we only have a week left before our spring recess. And you've heard me say it before, this is the time of the year that we need to kick it into another gear. Maybe I'll even coin that phrase. Time of the year to kick it into another gear. Have those conversations with kiddos about finishing strongly, where we're at in the year, and why it's so important that we don't lose focus. Because together we are Kenton strong. Together, we are always Kenton proud, and together we'll continue to move Kenton forward. Thank you very much for your attention. Have a wonderful weekend.